What is going on, everybody? This is episode 580 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to talk about the secondary of the Falcons. I mean, I think this secondary is very, very respectable. I want to talk about the guys that are on the team as of right now. There's also been a signing for the Falcons as far as the secondary goes. XFL star Lucas Dennis was just signed, and from what I'm hearing, he's a pretty good pickup, but there's a lot of competition in this secondary. So I don't know who's going to be what or where, but all I know is right now, this secondary looks really good. And I want to give you my thoughts and opinions. Is this a no-fly zone situation? Are teams going to have problems passing the ball on us? Is it a situation where the pass rush is going to help this secondary? It's a lot to talk about here, but we're going to run down everybody that's on the squad right now as far as AtlantaFalcons.com. And I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on who we have and what are we looking like. So we're going to go there, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions. If this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. And I want to thank you guys for the continued support. You guys are amazing. You guys are making this podcast grow faster than I thought it would be. And it's all from you guys just hitting the like button, sharing the podcast, letting other people know what's going on here. I try to make the most comprehensive, easy to listen to podcast out there, not just when it comes to Atlanta Falcons and Georgia Southern football, but it just in general, when it comes to actually, putting content out there. I want you guys to have a good time, listen to the show, and hopefully you guys are enjoying. Also, I can be found on Twitter at VF Baller, and also the website firstandframerates.com. You can go check me out over there and support the website as well. All right, let's just go ahead and get into this, because now it's starting to form to see what type of team that we have. There's still going to be a lot of changes, because some guys are just going to fall off. Some guys are not going to make the team. I think right now we may have up to 90 or, like 95 players on the team. I mean, that's how it usually is up until training camp and then preseason. Then we have to break everything down to a 53-man roster. But one thing's for certain, we have a lot of talent on the secondary. We talk about the pass rush. I think we did a pretty good job setting up that front seven to make some things happen. We talk about the offense. I think the offense looks pretty good. Bijan Robinson's here. We got Drake London. You also have, Kyle Pitts, I'm about to say Juju Smith. Good Lord, I got that wrong. The other tight end, Jonnu Smith. We got him. We got some players. We got some players on offense as well. The question mark is still at quarterback with Desmond Ridder. I think he's going to be fine with all the weapons. But we don't talk much about the secondary. And I think the secondary is really, really important. And I think we did a lot of work on the secondary, and nobody really talks about them. So let's go ahead and get into this. And just going down the list, we're going to just give you the names and give you the attributes as far as their weight, height, and their number. And we're just going to go right into it. First, D. Alford, you see him right here. He is, I think he changed his number to number 20. Was he always number 20? I can't remember. I don't think he was. 5'11", 175, second year out of Toscom College. Trey Flowers was another big pickup that we got. 6'3", 200, number 33, 27 years old, 6 years out of Oklahoma State. Darren Hall, they got him listed at cornerback still, but I think Darren Hall, no, that's Avery Williams. I got it mixed up. Never mind. But Darren Hall is still on the team. He's moved to number 23, 6 foot 190 out of San Diego State. Mike Hughes is another good cornerback that we picked up. He ended up getting number 21. That's interesting. He got number 21. 5'10", 189 out of UCF. Jeff Okuda, one kid that had a lot of promise for this team. He had a lot of promise not on this team, but in the NFL. I think he's like number 3 pick overall. We can get really good dividends off of him if he actually performs up to that standard. I mean, it'll be excellent. But nevertheless, 6'1", 202 out of Ohio State. Jamal Peters, you have him, number 38, 26 years old, 6'2", 217 out of Mississippi State. Man, he's pretty young. I mean, he's only had 1 year experience, but he's 26. Interesting. Clark Phillips, this is the kid that we drafted and everybody's been talking about. Clark Phillips, how well that he's going to be doing. He got number 34, which is also interesting. 5'10", 183, rookie out of Utah. AJ Terrell, you already know, there's no need in name or introduction to that. He's done pretty well for the team, 6'1", 195. Out of Clemson, Michael Abernathy, who's one of the older guys on the teams at 26 as well. 6 foot, 196, 1 year out of Tennessee. What's up with all these 26 years old only played 1 or 2 years? It's really pretty weird. Cornell Armstrong, which is a guy who came on later on in the season, which I actually thought that he was a guy that kind of, was going to be a liability, but as the season went on, he got better. 5'11", 185 out of Southern Mississippi. Natron Brooks, DB, rookie out of Southern Miss. I think he went undrafted as well. And you got DeMarco Hellmans, which was a guy that was drafted late in the 7th round, 6'1", 213, which probably is a steal. Him and Clark Phillips getting drafted late, basically Clark Phillips should have been a first-round pick, but at the fact he was 5'10" and not 6'1", dropped him all the way to the 4th round. But I think that's going to pay dividends. That kid's going to be able to do really well. And DeMarco Hellmans kind of got lost in the shuffle playing for Alabama with all the other good players. I mean, he was a safety that was able to, lead the team in tackles. So that's going to be something really interesting to talk about as well. Now, the one person I did not talk about was Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates is not on wasn't shown on here. Also, Richie Grant is not on here as well, because I think right here I got a lot of DBs and cornerbacks. They're not really showing the safeties, and I'm kind of interested in that. Let me roll down here and see if I can find the safeties, because there's other guys that we need to talk about as well, because this is in alphabetical order. And there's the 3 safeties right there. Jesse Bates, Richie Grant, and Jalen Hawkins. Those 3 guys are basically the safeties. You're going to see like DeMarco Hellmans move up the safety as well, because I think we need at least 4 or 5 safeties. So that kind of shows you the way this look like. If he just does his job, Hellmans has a spot on his team, because you can't just go into the next season with 3 safeties. That's just not going to be a thing. But with Jesse Bates being 6'1", 200 out of Wake Forest, Richie Grant 6'2" for us, 6 foot 200 out of UCF, and you got Jalen Hawkins also 6'1", 208 out of California. You got 3 guys there that's actually going to be pretty decent as well. So when you look at what's going on here, with this secondary, and I'm not even going to get into the rest of the team right now, because it's like we're talking about a no-fly zone, because I'm looking at the rest of the roster. You got a team here that's pretty formidable when it comes to the secondary. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that these guys here are going to cause havoc for a lot of teams, because there's a lot of talent on the secondary. When you look at guys like a AJ Terrell, which, he has his ups and downs for the most part, but there was one season that, and it was the first year we went 7-10, AJ Terrell was absolutely a stud. I think he only gave up like the most was 38 yards in one game. Nobody got more than that. If we can get that AJ Terrell back, that'd be awesome. You got guys like Jeff Okudah, Trey Flowers, Jesse Bates. You got Clark Phillips. You got guys that are going to be able to not only cover, but they can tackle as well. I think Jeff Okudah, this is a make or break season for him, because this is the last, this is the last year of his contract, and you want to get paid. I mean, it's kind of like those 1-year deals that we had last year. A lot of guys end up getting celebrated or getting compensated for their services. Jeff Okudah could make it easy for him to be a number 2 if he just lives up to the hype, live up to the expectation that he has. Same thing with Mike Hughes, another guy who can play pretty well. Trey Flowers is another guy that's coming in. All these guys could be vying for cornerback number 2 or even nickel corner, because a lot of these guys do have the size. Like Okudah, he could play nickel. You got a guy like Trey Flowers could possibly play nickel. Me personally, I think Clark Phillips could be the guy that's going to be CB2. I mean, he just has the ball hawking skills to do so. And usually that cornerback number 2 is going to be going after the guy that's the possession receiver. So it's not going to be necessarily the speedster, or it's going to be the guy that can blow over the top in the passing game. So if he's going to be up against a possession receiver, that just bodes well for Clark Phillips, because he can cover. You kind of see how well he did against Drake London. I mean, Drake London had like 16 catches for like 162, but Drake London had to earn all of that. He caught hell trying to catch all of that. And throughout his career, Clark Phillips had like 9 interceptions. 4 of them was pick sixes. So you got a guy here, even though Drake London seemed on paper to get the best of them. If you look at that matchup, it was a tough one. It was a tough one for both. And iron sharpens iron. I just did an episode about that. And if we can get production from Clark Phillips that we know that we can get, he could be vying for that spot. That's something I would like to see. But personally, it doesn't matter who gets the cornerback number 2 position, long as those guys can actually, just produce and actually lock down whoever they're going up against. AJ Terrell pretty much got CB1 under wraps. I just think that he's not going to be able to be dethroned from that with his, his leadership or his tenure. He's been there for a while, but you never know. Long as he's on the field doing something and he could be that guy that he's always been, that you can't go wrong. Now, when it comes to the secondary, Jesse Bates is a huge upgrade for what we had in the secondary. I think, the last few years we had a couple other guys, that I ain't gonna say they didn't pan out. They just wasn't as, formidable, but we got Richie Grant on the other side of him, which is actually, he stepped up a lot as well. So with him possibly playing, free or strong safety, I think Richie Grant could do probably a little bit of both. Jesse Bates probably will be the strong safety because he can come down and tackle. Same thing with Hellmans. Hellmans could come down as well. And you got a lot of other guys as DBs are probably just going to be rotating in and out. I see Cornell Armstrong could come in when you have dime packages. You have Darren Hall, another guy come in for dime packages, rotational guys who can make things happen and don't have to be one of those guys that have to follow a receiver. You don't have to be one of those guys that have a particular assignment. Like, look, it's third down. We may need you to cover or double up on somebody. Or hell, we may need you to just go in and try to get the quarterback on a quarterback blitz. So it's really good to see this type of, versatility out of the secondary. And I still haven't even mentioned Mike Hughes or Jamal Peters, where Mike Hughes is a little bit smaller cornerback, but he's a little more feisty. He can get in there and make things happen. Jamal Peters is a bigger guy, 6'2", 217. So this is the type of things that, we're starting to see how things starting to play out, especially with our new defensive back coach and the defensive coordinator. The sky's the limit for what this team can do. I'm really excited to see what happens here. Could it be a no-fly zone? I can see it because I still haven't mentioned Trey Flowers coming in, and all these guys that are coming in, they don't have a specific assignment. They just need to go out there and play ball. AJ Terrell has an assignment. I think Clark Phillips, what he has done in college, if they get him to learn the game, he's going to be up to expectation to be that ball hawk guy. But everybody else here is like, yo, go out there and prove it. Show us what you got. Show us what you need. Show us what you can do under these circumstances. And we got a lot of talent to do it. So I think that we're going to be able to make some things happen in the secondary. And also with the pass rush that we do have now with Calais Campbell, Ebikete, the two guys from the Saints, even the guy that we drafted, we're going to have, Zach? I can't remember the guy who we drafted, Zach from the Ohio State. I think we're going to have a really good chance to get at the quarterback that could cause some turnovers because a good pass rush helps the secondary. Sometimes a good secondary helps a good pass rush. All in all, if you have a complete defense, it's going to be hard to really, get past this team. I think this is probably like the most improved team in the NFL. And a lot of people don't want to give us credit because of our past. And that's fine. We're not here looking for credit. We just want our team to go out there and be competitive and win some games. I clearly see us probably flipping our roster, not roster, but flipping our standings from 7 to 10 to 10 and 7, possibly more than that because our schedule actually looks fairly favorable. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, man. Do you think this secondary is a no-fly zone? What does this secondary consist of to you? What do you think they're about? I think they look really good. I mean, there's no way around it. I think, some of these guys just need probably a second chance and a second place to be somewhere, a place where they can feel like the expectations are there, but people are pushing them to be better. And with this coaching staff and the front office and the conglomerate, I hate to use the word brotherhood, so I'm not going to use that. But the collective of players that we have, we look like we could be in a situation where these guys could feed off each other and be really, really good. So that's what I'm expecting. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Check out the podcast side of things. Give me a 5-star rating if you're on Apple. Also, hit that like button. It spreads the content out to everybody so people know what we're doing over here. If you're over here for Atlanta Falcons content, I appreciate it. If you're over for Georgia Southern content, that is coming. Trust me and believe I will have some Georgia Southern content coming up. It's just that not much going on over there down there in Statesboro. But we will be having that stuff on deck. Thank you guys once again. I'm going to get up out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.